Bojan Bogdanovic completely changes the New York Knicks. The Knicks and Pistons recently made a trade centering around Bojan Bogdanovic and Alec Burks coming to the New York Knicks. And in my opinion, this deal was an absolute smashing success for New York based upon what they got in return and what they needed to give up. But even besides that, I definitely think the addition of Bojan is going to completely change the Knicks, not only during the regular season, but even more importantly, during the playoffs. But quickly, before we get the video started, for those of you who may not know, I'm Juicy Sports. I make opinionated NBA content, and if you guys enjoy videos similar to this, hit that subscribe button, that like button, and that post notification bell. I also want to quickly mention that I recently started up an MMA channel, and if you guys are interested in that, the link will be in the description. But anyways, let's get into it. When you look at Bojan's career so far, it's pretty clear that this guy is an extremely effective player. As when you look at Bojan's career averages, he's averaging 15.5 points per game on 3.6 boards and 1.7 assists. Just extremely effective numbers overall. And even when you look throughout his career and all the different landing spots that he's been in, whether you talk about the Brooklyn Nets, Washington Wizards, Indiana Pacers, Utah Jazz, and even more recently the Detroit Pistons, one similarity that you can see in all of those different landing spots is Bojan has been extremely effective, and he fits into basically any team that he's on. Because when you look at this guy's overall game, it's pretty clear that he can fit in with any organization. And of course, he recently got traded to the New York Knicks, and I fully expect this guy to fit in absolutely perfectly with this Knicks roster. But a question that some of you may be wondering at this point is, why has Bojan been able to be so effective throughout really his entire NBA career so far? Well, in my opinion, it comes down to a couple different factors, but the first factor has to be his overall shooting ability. Because when you look at Bojan's game, it's pretty clear that this guy has a phenomenal ability to spread the court out. He does a great job at hitting that catch and shoot three-point jump shot at an extremely efficient rate, and actually when you look throughout his career, it almost feels as if his efficiency numbers from that three-point range has been rising. And even when you look at his efficiency numbers this season with the Pistons, he was shooting above 40%, really above 44% this season, which is just absolutely incredible. But the great thing about Bojan is not only does he have the capability to hit the catch and shoot three-point jump shot, but he also has a really nice ability to create for himself from that range as well. Whether you talk about a one dribble pull-up into a three-point jumper, whether you talk about a crossover, sidestep, or even step back at times, it's pretty clear that Bojan is an extremely efficient and extremely effective shooter from that three-point range, and he has the ability and capability to do so in a lot of different ways. And that's definitely a huge reason for why we're seeing some of the scoring numbers that he's able to average throughout his career be so high. But even besides his three-point shooting ability, Bojan also has a phenomenal ability to shoot from that mid-range area as well. Whether you talk about the one dribble pull-up, whether you talk about the catch and shoot, the post turnaround fadeaway, crossover, sidestep, or step back into a mid-range jumper, it's pretty clear that from that mid-range area, Bojan also has it all, and he does so at a very efficient rate. It's pretty clear that his overall shooting ability from that three-point range, from that mid-range area, is just extremely efficient and effective, and no matter who's defending this guy, it's pretty clear that he's going to get his own, and he's going to be able to shoot at a really high percentage for you. So that's definitely the first reason for why I think Bojan has been able to fit into every different team he's played on, and why he's been such an efficient and effective scorer. But even besides that, Bojan definitely has an ability to drive to the basket. Although it isn't necessarily one of his better aspects, he is a little bit older at this point as well, and maybe he's not as nimble as he used to be, but regardless of that, the fact that he is such a great three-point shooter definitely does open up some lanes at times for him to drive to the basket, and he definitely does have a nice ability to finish around the basket with crafty layups, either his left or right hand. Now, I would say besides his overall scoring ability, he also has an okay ability to facilitate out there. He's going to be able to find open guys cutting backdoor for wide open dunks or layups at times. He's going to find guys for wide open catch and shoot three-point jump shots at times. But in my opinion, you're really bringing this guy in for two different reasons: to score for himself individually from that three-point range or from that mid-range area, or also to spread the court out for your other guys, where he would be able able to give a lot of your players a lot more room out there, to the point where your main guys can have one-on-one opportunities and finish around the basket that way. Or if they do get double or triple teamed, you can kick out to Bojan and he's going to hit that wide open 3-point jump shot a lot more often than he's going to miss it. But the next question that some of you may be wondering at this point is, why do I think Bojan completely changes everything for the New York Knicks? Well, in my opinion, I think Bojan could help out this team in a lot of different ways. Of course, he has a talent and capability to start for this team, and if he does, he's going to do a really nice job at taking a lot of pressure off both Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle, due to the fact that he has the capability to score for himself, but also at the same time, he's going to do a really nice job at opening up the court a little bit and open up some driving lanes for both of those guys as well, and Brunson and Randle. But actually, in my ideal scenario, I actually like Bojan coming off the bench, and the reason why I like that is now you have a guy coming off the bench that has the capability to put up 20 or even 25 points on any given night and do so very efficiently. And if you're now talking about a team that has Brunson, Julius Randle, DiVincenzo, OG Anunoby, and Isaiah Hartenstein in your starting lineup, a lot of guys in that starting lineup can score the ball at a really high level, but you also have a bench unit that includes Alec Burks and now also Bojan Bogdanovic, who both have the ability to score at a really high level, and of course you have other guys in that bench unit that also can score at a high level. I just think you're talking about an extremely dangerous team, because really no matter who's out there on the court, whether it's a starting lineup, whether it's a bench unit, whether it's a mix of both, you're talking about a lineup that has the capability to score at a really high level and has a bunch of different guys that are great individual scorers. So I definitely do think the Knicks adding Bojan kind of makes them a nightmare matchup for a lot of different teams in the NBA. And another great thing about Bojan is, even though I do like him coming off the bench, at the end of the game, in the final 5 minutes of a regular season game, and especially in the final 5 minutes of a playoff game, I am a huge fan of keeping him out there on the court. I really am a fan of a final 5-minute lineup being Julius Randle, Isaiah Hartenstein, OG Anunoby, Bojan Bogdanovic, and Jalen Brunson. If those 5 guys are out there in the final 5 minutes, that's a lineup that I'm very confident in. You have a lot of scoring, you do have a good amount of defense, you do have a good amount of rebounding, and I just think that's a very difficult lineup to defend. So overall, I am a huge fan of this addition for the New York Knicks. I also think Alec Burks is also a pretty nice pickup. He's another guy that shoots around 40% from 3. He's another guy that clearly can score for himself, even facilitate. He was on the Knicks not too long ago, and the Knicks were running him at that point guard position at times, and he definitely had the capability to facilitate a little bit. So I definitely am a big fan of that pickup as well. And overall, I just think this was an A+ move for the New York Knicks, because the only real thing they gave up was Quentin Grimes, but Quentin Grimes was really only a 3-and-D type guy, and at times he didn't even necessarily do that at that high of a level. And of course, the rest of the assets the Knicks moved on from aren't really all that important in my opinion. They were guys that didn't really play whatsoever, and 2 second-round picks. So I definitely think moving on from those assets in exchange for a guy that has the capability to put up 20 or 25 points on any given night, and also getting Alec Burks on top of that, is definitely an A+ deal for the New York Knicks. But I guess only time will tell what does end up happening for them, not only this season, but also in the long-term future. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think this trade was a very good one for the Knicks, or do you not think so? But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did enjoy, check one of these 2 videos popping up now. And until the next time, peace out, guys.